In this video I'm going to show you how to put a bridle back together after you've cleaned it. Now the first thing you want to check before you take your bridle apart is you need to check which holes each of these are on, so that when you put the bridle back together you put it back on the same holes so that it fits the pony. If we just come down here, these are all the component parts of your bridle. If we start with the bit, and then these are the cheek pieces which attach to the bit. This is the head piece here with the throat lash which goes underneath the pony's jaw. The cheek piece is attached to this. This is the brow band which goes across the front of your pony's forehead, and then this is the nose band, and then finally we put the reins on at the end. So when putting your bridle back together, you want to start with your head piece and your brow band. If you hang your headpiece onto a bridle hook like this, you want the throat lash, which is the long part that goes under your pony's chin, you want that to be on the left hand side. And then you take your brow band and you thread it through the headpiece so that the brow band's sticking out in front. It might take you a couple of tries to get this right, but don't worry, it's like riding a bike. Once you can do it forever. Then we want to take our nose band. So the long part of the nose band, which is the bit that goes over the top of your pony's head behind his ears, we want to take hold of that piece and thread it through the brow band on the inside of the headpiece. Through the other side, so that the brow band is sitting underneath the headpiece through both parts of the brow band, and then you just fasten the buckle, making sure that you put the ends through all the runners so that it's nice and tidy and everything stays in place. You need to just give it a little wiggle round to straighten it up. Okay, so the next part is your cheek pieces. Now it doesn't really matter which goes on which side because they're both exactly the same. Okay, so you take your first one and attach here to the last piece of leather which is available. Make sure it goes onto the same buckle hole as what it came off of. And you want to tuck the long piece of leather in through all the keepers so that it's nice and tidy and everything stays in place. Do exactly the same thing on the other side, remembering to tuck in all the keepers. That's starting to resemble a bridle again now. So the last thing is our bit. Now the thing that's very important with a bit is to make sure you put it on the right way round. If you can see here where I squashed the two sides together, the bit fits flush, the two ends join, and that's how it should sit in your pony's mouth. If you turn it the other way, these two ends here don't meet, and that would be very, very uncomfortable for your pony if that was in his mouth that way. So always remember that the two sides should sit nice and close together, and that is the right way to have it in your pony's mouth. So you want to take it to your bridle like this to ensure that you put the sides on correctly. Now with these billets, this is what this type of attachment is called. These fasten on the inside of the bridle as opposed to buckles which fasten on the outside. So you loop the bit through here, push the end through the keeper and through the other keeper, and then this very small little piece of metal, that's what's called the billet. And then that needs to fit snugly into the gap here, and then you pull it back so that everything's flush and flat, and then that sits on the inside. And then the very last thing to do is attach your reins. So if you get the buckle at the top and just place that over the top of the headpiece, and then you want to lengthen out the rein to make sure that it's nice and straight and there are no kinks in it. And then, as we said before, the buckles attach on the outside, which is what these are, these attachments on this bridle. So you feed it through the bit ring, fasten the buckle, and again through the keeper, and then you can see the buckle here is on the outside and the billet here is on the inside. And do the same thing on the other side. Stretch out your rein to make sure you've got no kinks and creases in it, and then attach it onto the bit ring. So there we go, that's your bridle all put back together. Now the best thing you can do is practice, and once you know exactly how to do it, you'll have no excuse for taking apart your pony's bridle and giving it a good thorough clean.